Hi everybody! Love is Blind Friends has just hit Netflix, and I must say I love this version of Love is Blind. I love the fact that the participants are 30 plus old, so I'm expecting to see maturity. Now, of course, let's dive into the first episode and what happened then. The first episode, we get to meet a woman called Chloe, a 32-year-old physical therapist who opens up about her past struggles to a man called Alexandra, an IT manager who was one of the men she spoke to in the pods. Chloe shared that she was in a relationship where only the first year felt real and the rest was full of betrayal. Alexandra said that his childhood sweetheart had cheated on him after 9 years together, and he still felt some guilt about how things ended. Even with their past pain, both told each other to stay hopeful and open to love. Later, in Love is Blind Friends, Chloe sang a song for Alexandra, and Alexandra felt ready to propose to Chloe, which moved her into tears. And just like that, we had our first couple. Now, the first love triangle in Love is Blind Friends followed a woman named Tatiana, a 39-year-old businesswoman and a single mother. She runs salons and leads a charity focusing in helping young girls in Africa. Oh, how sweet. In her own words, she said, "We fight against period poverty amongst young girls in Africa." This is so sweet. Some men pulled back when they found out Tatiana's age and that she had a son, but Thomas, 37-year-old, reacted differently. He said he also had an 8-year-old daughter, and they bonded over both being parents and coming from Lyon. Tatiana admitted she was afraid of being rejected because she was a single mother. Thomas comforted her by talking openly, though he also built a connection with Kim, a lawyer in real estate. The developing dynamics suggested a possible love triangle. While Tatiana found hope in Thomas' understanding, he continued to build a connection with Kim as well. By the end of the fourth episode, the situation between the three participants hinted at a tension to come. When Thomas eventually go for Kim and broke things off with Tatiana, this left Tatiana in tears, crying, saying that for once, just for once, she wanted to be chosen by a man and not come second choice or second option for any man. But eventually she understood that this is a part of the process to make multiple connections, and eventually Thomas went with his heart and what felt better for him, which was Kim. Of course, Tatiana took the news like a big girl that she is, and she continued and told herself that she is going to move forward and formed other connections. Sadly for her, she did again formed a connection with another man called Gallian. Oh, this is so sad for Tatiana. This is when I dropped a tear myself when we find out that Gallian has been pulled out of the show because he broke some rules. I'm like, no, this gotta be a bad luck for Tatiana. Like, Tatiana, babe, what is wrong with you? Like, at this point, I'm feeling like something is definitely wrong with you. So, as exciting the experience is, but it comes with rules for some participants. And one of the major rule is to never connect with the outside world. So this, in episode 3, we get to see that a man named Gallian, who was 37, who had connected with Tatiana, of course, broke this rule by going on an outside world and going on multiple dates whilst he is on this experience, which of course, as soon as the producers of the show found out about this, they had to pull out him and told him that this is where he ends his experience. It's very sad because he was Tatiana's number one after Thomas. Well, let's cover another major argument that I definitely did not see it coming. I really did not see it coming, and I must say this. It's because these people are 30 plus years. I am assuming that I'm dealing with adults who are matured, who have been through some heartbreaks, and they now understand life better and differently. But nope, I was wrong. Listen to this argument. So in episode 4, which was named Height Difference, so Cynthia and her fiance Jonathan argue about shoes, shoes and their height difference. So yes, Cynthia connected with Jonathan in the pods, and they talked about everything except heights. Cynthia did not mention that she is tall and she would love to have a tall man, but she did wanted to mention it, but then hesitates and was like, no, it doesn't matter, we will see when we see each other. And yes, in the reveal, Cynthia was a bit disappointed to find out that Jonathan was a bit shorter than she is. Remember, Cynthia is a woman who loves heels. This is what she said. She loved wearing heels. So yes, their height difference was kind of an issue for her. So the argument happened when Cynthia and Jonathan were getting ready for a get-together party. It was a reunion of sorts where the other engaged couples will also be present. Jonathan was shorter than Cynthia. He knew that, and so he asked her to wear flats instead of heels. His motive was to avoid people mocking his height. He said, "I'm begging you, please wear the other shoes. Because of the others, I'm going to get roasted. You are taking it too far," Jonathan said. As far as Cynthia thought that Jonathan was fine with whatever she chose to wear, but that was not the case. Jonathan stated that it was a test for her so he could see if she would consider his feelings before. I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. When I tell you that this couple went back and forth, and ultimately left them in a vulnerable spot, so both wanted to end things. They both wanted to end things over shoes. Like, over shoes. I've never, ever in my whole life seen adults. I'm talking about old people. I'm talking about people who are in their 30s right now, okay? Seen adults argue over shoes. Like, please be real right now. You are 30. You know that people have different heights. You know, as a woman, you may most likely end up with a short guy, because when we're all 30, we're all imagining this tall, dark, handsome man, but life happened, right? Life happened. You most likely gonna end up with someone who's short. why do you have a problem? Like, why do you have a problem? Like, I'm so not well. I'm not myself right now. I can't with these adults. I honestly can't. Well, another love triangle followed Julie, Sarah, and Charles. Charles said that he loved talking intimacy just so that he can get to understand his partner, get to understand if they are compatible or not. Which I was like, for sure, Charles, I understand you. You have to understand the person that you are with. You have to understand if you guys are compatible or not. Sarah, on the other hand, she's like, nope, I'm not gonna talk intimacy on national TV because I do not want the whole world to know me like that. I do not want the whole world to know me like that. So therefore, Charles was like, okay, it's cool, it's good. And then we have Julie, who was like, I do not mind talking intimacy because my potential future husband has to know if we are aligned in that department, because that's a very important department that makes the relationship work. I'm like, correct. So Sarah decided to give Charles an ultimatum and saying, listen, it's either you put a ring on it or you leave it, okay? And the way that she went about it, it's what bothers me, okay? The way she went about it, it's what bothers me. Absolutely, I have no problem with you, DA, giving your men an ultimatum, saying, step up, don't leave me hanging. I'm like, definitely, you gotta make this man to step up, okay? But going around and kind of talking BS about the other woman, that was lacking classy. That was not classy at all, Sarah. And you need to be called out, baby girl. You need to be called out because you kind of put pressure on this man. And not only did you put pressure on this man, you go like, oh, that girl, she is nothing like me. Why would you have a connection with someone who's nothing like me? I'm just like, baby girl, do you think you're purer than her? Do you think you're more beautiful than she is? What, like, really, you're not even that pretty. Like, she is not what she thinks she is. No, babe, please relax, okay? And comes Julie fought for her man. I'm like, yes, Julie, I am rooting for you. And Julie and Charles really bonded over trauma. They have so much trauma growing up. In such a way that Julie chose her friends to be her family. She's just like, I'm done with her family. She doesn't have a good relationship with her mom. She's like, it's whatever. My friends are my family now. Same thing with Charles. Charles lost his mom at a young age, and he never really had a good relationship with his dad. But he have his friends now, and he does talk about the fact that his friends are his family. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if bonding over trauma is a good thing or not, but I do know that you got to bond over something. Even if it's trauma, hey, it still counts as a bond, right? It still counts as a bond. So I'm like, okay, good. These two, they bonded over something. They would perfectly make a good match, of which they did. I'm so glad that in the end, Charles chose Julie because Sarah was giving mean girl energy. She was definitely giving mean girl energy. And if she probably did not give mean girl energy, she probably would have been chosen, and I was probably going to be rooting for her, but I wasn't. I honestly wasn't rooting for Sarah because she was out here giving mean girl energy. Anyway, yeah, those are our friends couple, Love is Blind friends. And let me tell you, the drama, you will honestly think we are dealing with early 20s. Yes, we are dealing with 30 plus adults. Wow, this is crazy, but I love their drama. Bring it on. I honestly do not see any couple getting married. I'm sorry, I'm not. Thomas and Kim, they are definitely gonna break up because they have already had their huge fights. Did I cover that? Thomas and Kim have had their biggest fights where they were just like, I'm done. They just wanted to break things up. Of which I was like, yeah, you go ahead, Thomas. I'm not feeling Kim as well. Like, I'm really not feeling that girl. I'm sorry. Thomas and Kim will not get married. I am saying it now. They will not. For now, really, I do not have any trust on any couple. Even Tatiana with her current match, I do not have hope on them either. Like, I honestly do not have hope on them. So as it stands right now, I do not see anyone getting married from Love is Blind friends. I must say that I do not understand French. I don't understand French. So yes, me doing this version in English, I love it. I love it for me. Coming from someone who barely, like, not even barely, I do not understand French at all. And the sad part is I wanted to follow them on their socials, on Instagram, but they always post their content in French, and I'm just like, I don't understand French. I'm sorry. Are you all serious about getting followers from all over the world? Because at least you gotta change how you post your content on Insta. Like, you will make French captions. I cannot read French. I'm sorry.